Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining DataCon LA 2022. And welcome to Cybersecurity and the Industrial of IoT. My name is Hestia, your host, and your co-host today is Unti. Please be mindful of our COVID regulations and keep your mask on. Also silence your phone during session. Don't hesitate to raise your hand if you have any questions. This session is currently streaming via Zoom and will be recorded. It will be available online in a few weeks. Today, we have our guest, founder, chairman, and chief of innovation officer at Palmchip. His name is Jauher Zaidi. He invented the core frame, the first system on chip architecture, which enables billions of wireless and storage devices today. He holds several technology patents in cybersecurity, SoC, and on-chip interconnect technology, a leading expert in the area of SoC and cybersecurity technologies. Jauher has participated on many panels and has written and presented a number of articles ranging from cybersecurity, system on chip, and artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. Please welcome Jauher.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. Do I need to keep this mic or?
Yes, because you talk very low.
Okay. So good afternoon again. My name is Jauher Zaidi. And thank you for the great introduction. The slides are not moving.
It's up and down. Yeah. Oh, it's not working. Okay, yeah, just go next. There you go.
Okay. So my talk today is about cybersecurity into the age of industrial IoT. And the agenda is about what is industrial IoT, what is cybersecurity, and evolution of technology, which took us here, and cybersecurity challenges in the IoT, and then industry IoT cybersecurity solutions, and some solution which Palmchip provides, and then we'll have Q&A. So industrial IoT is it is the use of IoT into the manufacturing industry. IIoT automates, speeds up, and redefines the ways machines and communicate with each other without human interaction. Data gets processed and analyzed to make decisions faster and precise. And the goal of IIoT is to help increase productivity, reduce human errors, manual labors, save energy, and reduce waste. How many people know industrial IoT? Anyone here? No. Okay. And what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems and networks and programs from digital attacks. These attacks are usually aimed at accessing, changing, or destroying sensitive information, extorting monies and from users and interrupting normal business processes or factories. Implementing effective cybersecurity measure is particularly challenging today because there are more devices than people, and attackers are becoming more innovative. Today, they're estimating there are like 45 billion devices which are connected to the network. And it's going to go to almost 75 billion in the next 4 or 5 years. And IoT sensors and devices are new targets for cyber criminals. The reason for that is that they don't have any security built into it. So how we got here, like industries and technologies are growing. How many people remember this telephone? You do? And so those telephone has become now the mainframe computers. Same thing, how many people have used typewriters? I remember I did my final master paper using typewriters. And that was not far away. It's like maybe 25 years ago. So evolution of industry and how we reached here by the industry, like first industry 1.0 was the steam engines. When the steam engine was invented, they used that steam engine to run factories using water and coal. And the number two, industry 2.0 was making automations. Most famous example is from Ford Motor Company, who created the assembly chain and using electrical, he and Edison used to work together to create that. And then it came to industry 3.0, where we start using electricity, motors and robots and some kind of a PLCs, programmable logic, to create repetitive motions to build. And now we have entered into industry 4.0, where factories are connected to the cloud and lots of sensors provide information about motor vibrations, electrical usage, environments inside the factories, how much water is being used. So all this sensors collecting data, and then they send out to the cloud. And then from the cloud, it comes to on your phone or on your laptop to analyze how the factory is working. So that's industry 4.0. The other one is evolution of the internet, which is, it started with Web 1.0, which was basically Netscapes and Microsoft MSN and Yahoo and Java stuff. And then Web 2.0 came, where it became more interactive by having things like Googles and emails or Facebooks, social media. And then, also AWS provided spaces so you can build some application. The next, which is just starting, is called Web 3.0, where you have decentralized webs, or you have metaverse, where Facebook has changed their name to Meta, just because they see that metaverse is going to be a lot bigger than the Web 2.0. Another evolution happening in the wireless technology is from 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and now we are in 5G. We're still not, deployed the whole thing, but maybe by 2025, everywhere there'll be internet, which is 5G. You can think about as a Wi-Fi, which is available anywhere, anytime, and it's almost 10,000 times faster. So for hackers, it's a dream. Because they can, take all your data within, less than a second, which used to take maybe hours and hours. So if you remember downloading a movie, it used to take maybe 24 hours before. So that's another scary stuff. And on the factories, a lot of businesses, they used to use inventory management systems, then material requirement plannings. Then in the 80s, when PC came, they became like Excel type of thing, or Access, which creates a manufacturing resource plannings. And enterprise resource plannings, it became the ERP, where the big corporations like Oracle's and SAP and Microsoft have lots of software to manage factories. And then there's ERP2, which is more going to towards cloud internally, but now is cloud-based Oracle 10 or SAP. They're all provided. So this technology is helping to manage factories from far. And then the most interesting thing before it happened is several years ago is artificial intelligence is becoming usable. It started in 1950. The term was coined by John McCarthy in 1955, and I have worked in 1990 on some of the AI stuff. But that time the power was not there, compute power was not there. But 2000, it started nourishing is that there is a compute power, and it's a lot cheaper. And I think the session before that was also they're talking about how much many pictures you need and storage you need and processing power you need to create these models. So that's technologies here. So now we are at the, I think is the best of everything is today we have the, the fastest networks technology, we have AI, we have ERPs, and so industry, the factories can become more smarter than humans even. So they are creating a digital twins of the factories. We have one customer who just created the whole factory and it works on your cloud, and then we check like how the real factory is working. So AI is I think becoming more and more involved into making decisions or predicting what's going to happen to the motors or what's going to happen to the supply chain. So they can work together with different suppliers, and then they can predict what to optimize, like they need to continue turning the motor on or off, or they can order it before it can stop. So there's making AI is going to help to make more efficient. So today, most of the businesses use IT, which is like connecting computers into your workplace, but also computers are in the factories. So these factories also, use some kind of a centers where an operator has to input things. But so that's called just a pure IT connecting computers. But then there is another technology which we just talked about, ERPs, operational technology, where you're keeping track of where everything is from accounting side, from the sales side, from the engineering side. So how do you converge these two? Because IT guys don't understand operation side and operation guys don't understand. So there are lots of integration challenges happening where hackers will find ways to get into in each of these things to hack. So IoT is vulnerable, and the report commissioned by Barracuda companies that 94% of respondents have experienced some form of attack on their industrial IoT or operational IoT technology during the last 12 months. So that's scary. The 94% already been hacked. And then there's another report from Trend Micro, which is a security company, is that their customers have seen 61%. So it's not a good news. So the biggest cyber security attacks, which is on the industry, is Colonial Pipeline, which was shut down, and all the oil was stopped, and they have to pay millions of dollars to the hacker through a Bitcoin. And the JBL beef plant is also, they shut down 9 plants at the same time. So, and the CPC, Taiwan state-owned oil, petroleum, gas and company was shut down. Ukraine power grid was hacked. So San Francisco Muni system was hacked, and Saudi Arabia Aramco was hacked. So there is a list of like maybe hundreds of companies, which is, the banks are getting hacked soon, but they are not publicized because people get scared, right? So lots of these things are not publicly available. So the challenges are basically is the data leaks. So once you have wireless technologies, you have OT or IoT or EPR technology. So everywhere you're increasing your attack surface. So attack surface is not just in your office, it's globally, it's going. So wherever your food chains are for the factory, that's your attack surfaces. So the data leak is the biggest challenge. Number 2 is the data sharing between IT and OT is becoming, because each one has their own subsystems or own way of doing business and creating their own passwords. And we also have found like most of the passwords people have is called password. So, because it says, you know, create your password and it gives you a password, so people just type that password. And so many people use the same password for everywhere, for their banks, for their factory, for their work, for their emails. So hackers, you know, they have databases, they can figure it out if you are living in certain area or working for some company, what kind of passwords you will have. And all this is creating, because going to cloud, so it's creating also a single point of failure. Like if somebody just hacked the cloud, then you basically everybody is hacked. And the most important is the like weak passwords between IT devices and cloud. So IoT sensors and IoT devices don't have much security built into it. So they depend on a gateway somewhere, and then gateway talk to the cloud. And between gateway and cloud, there's a communication, but then from the gateway to the sensor, there is no security. So if I can hack a camera, or if I can hack a, you know, this sprinkler system here, I can get to the network easily. Then phishing attacks are coming through your text messaging on your phones. They're coming through emails. They're coming through WhatsApp and any devices which is not related to, but is hacking the person. So when person is an employee, he gets hacked through those phishing attacks, they can get this password. So Twitter hack happened because the guy was working from home and he got a text message from his boss, which was not the real boss. And he gave him a password because the boss wanted a password. So they hacked the whole Twitter. Then AI-based tools used by cyber criminals. So most industrial IoT or factories and people are not using AI, but the criminals are using AI. So they are basically hiring PhDs to create new hacking tools. So you can see the behavior of a person, they can see the location of a person. So the AI can, does 1,000 times faster things. So challenges continue. So more than 50% critical infrastructure operation utilize outdated Microsoft software still. Companies or factories, they don't want to upgrade because they think everything's working. So they don't want to even pay to Microsoft, or they have hacked copies. So they continue to use the same software. And more than 40% of all industrial sites are using the public internet. So that's another issue with the cybersecurity for the factories. Hospitals also, using old, outdated equipment, which was 20 years old. It has no security, and they have Microsoft computers there too. So patients' heart can stop from the cyber criminal. And the lack of authentication and security in sensor is a huge challenge. Today's temperature sensors, like if you have a Nest at your home, is talking to cloud, so you don't have any security there. If you have a camera from Amazon and you think you want to watch your home while you're not there, but also the cyber criminal is also watching your home at the same time. There was a hack happened about 6 months ago. There's all the hospitals and all the police stations and all the cameras, serverless camera was hacked. So the cyber criminal have everything in his computer, so he can watch what's happening. Compromised data can lead to equipment damage. So when hackers can come and stops one line in the factory, or take care of the computer, or they do a ransom attack, basically factory stops. And most of the people don't have any mitigation planning. Like if the attack happened, what they're going to do. And they also don't have the backup plans because they think this maybe it's in the cloud already backed up, but it's not true. And there's no standard protocols, and every IoT device manufacturers making their own, between the gateway and the sensor, they're creating their own kind of protocols which are not standard. So that's also creating big, huge problems because sensors don't talk to each other properly. And most of them also not updated, because once the camera is working or your Nest, I'm not sure how many times you have updated your Nest controller at home. And same thing is in the industry, that they don't, if some things are working, they don't want to touch to make it or upgrade. There is a sensors are also creating massive amount of data. I think in a few years you will see that each light will have its own sensors, and your doors will have sensors, the temperature, fire alarms, and there is so much data generated. And so what you do with this data, and this most of the time is useless after just is used. So, but that data stays on your servers, and then when hacker hacks and get into your storage, they can figure it out, what happened in the past and what's the persona, I think you can say, of the person is. And transmission of the data to the cloud via public gateways is also an issue. Like most of the, currently we are using right now Zoom. Zoom is going to their cloud, and then from their cloud to going to either AT&T or Verizon's, and so it's hopping into so many things, and we don't know where hacker is sitting there and watching all this data. So anything you in the cloud is never gets deleted. So these are the huge challenges today, is to see who has the data. Right? We think it's only Zoom, but in order to get to Zoom, you need to go to some Wi-Fi guys, or to maybe to 5G guys, or to Verizon, and then each one also sharing, because they don't have towers, so they share towers from Verizon to AT&T to T-Mobile, and by the time you get again, they have to go back. So it's a huge problem. So what are the solutions? There's not many right now, but we think that cybersecurity audit is the first thing. If we can do the audit for IT and for OT networks, and that's what we provide, the first thing, that like, let's see if your door has a lock, or if it has a key, which one key can open everything. So here are multiple keys. Cybersecurity training is also, because employees don't know, they have a computer in their hand and they think it's a phone, but it's it's taking all the information. People are sending emails, and people are receiving emails, people receiving text message, and on the phone you have multiple apps. Like I think everybody may have like a WhatsApp or a Facebook or a Twitter, and all these apps have messaging system built into them. So these are also scary for if you're working in industry, because anybody can send you a text message or WhatsApp message. And then IT network need to be segmented. Like if you have IT devices, you need to make sure your IT network is separate than from IIoT network, and each IoT network should be segmented between their own machines or their own departments. So that's not happened because it's hard to do, and it's not easy to maintain. So people just use the same network. Even I go to people offices and then say guest network over here. I think I'm using a guest network also. So everybody's using guest network. Once you get into the guest network, so I am on the network, right? So and just doesn't even have a password. So we should have those kind of stuff. To solution is to create a separate network for each operation or each department. And good practices are just credential lockout. Like after 3 tries, if that's just lock them out, and so he can call the IT guy to say I can't get in, right? But today Microsoft doesn't provide that. We just keep showing unlimited Google, because they don't want to have bad customer service, right, or customer experience. So most of this security versus ease of use is the issue here. Change default credential upon activation. Like once we get the Wi-Fi box or network box or internet box, it's already have is user like admin and has a password, and that's what people use. And these are on the internet. You can go to AT&T and you can see every box they have shipped and what the password is. so people, the username will be admin and password will be admin 01 or 02 or 03, and they just continue that way. So the best practice is to, once you receive a box from your internet provider, you should change your username and passwords of that first. And managing strong password rules and two-factor authentication. So password today is at least 16 character long, and it should have multiple, alphanumeric characters and special characters, or some kind of a phrase which you only can remember, not the hacker can figure it out. But they're saying quantum computing is coming, and within a few seconds you can hack anybody's passwords. So I think the most important here is that all these companies, 5 things we discussed, wireless companies and the software companies, and so they need to work together to come up with some kind of a protocol that they have handshaking between them for security protocols. So there's no security protocols today. And that's also creates a big hole, because your suppliers, Target got hacked because their supplier sent somebody to go hook their API to Target so they can easily maintain. And the guy came in and he got this password, and that's how the Target was hacked. So the supply chain audit is also very important. So new cybersecurity trends comes with the new technologies. So now we have Bitcoins and crypto coins. So there's a crypto mining. There is a crypto wallet hijacking. It's happening. So people are, just need to know your wallet and they can hijack and take all your money. There's another technology under development. It's called deepfake, where you basically change your face to somebody. And you also, MIT has created this new app, which you can even learn your voice and your pitch and stuff. Even your mother cannot recognize that this is not you. So those are deepfake technologies are coming. So I'm not sure why, but so that's and then the video conferencing, just like we're doing, there's a video conferencing attacks are happening. So people are getting into this video conferencing and then start talking and start getting the information, and they just say iPhone, and you will see on the screen there's an iPhone joined, but there's a hacker basically. So you need to make sure anybody who's joining your video conferences to make sure it has a name and you know that guy. Yes. And then lots of IoT and OT attacks are happening, and supply chain attacks are happening. So these are the new trends for hackers, and because these have money, so there's a lot of money. Every time the hospital get hacked, they get $3, $4, $5 million from them. So any questions? Okay. So just to finish it up, Palmchip Cybersecurity Services provides, first thing we provide is like an audit. We want to make sure that we can check their programs, we can check how they're developing systems or software. We can also see how they're implementing them and how their operations working. And also security capability for maturity assessment, like how many people know. So there are lots of tools available today, which they get emails or text messages and how you react. One of my security guy was saying that he went to some company and he said, I came to do your audit, and say, okay, say I need the password, and she just wrote it down, the password. So we need to train those people to not give password. So security audit is our main, these things like, we have so many you can say backlog, because we don't have much security people, and cybersecurity is going to be a big thing. And if you guys are studying anything, I will just encourage you to become a cybersecurity engineering. And and there's a lot of money there to protect other people. So that's my take here. So this session was just to let you know what's happening in the cybersecurity into the industrial age and why we have so much issue and problems to solve. So I'm here if you have any questions.
IIoT, now that's industrial Internet of Things. Is that for like bigger appliances or things having to do with the business segment?
Yes, so IIoT is basically like if you're doing a smart cities, these are like industry, anything to do with like industry things like, not the home or commercial things.
Gotcha.
Right. Right. So hospitals, factories, or your, cities and your dams, electrical plants, and all this.
So when you're saying also, and I know you took it all, when you're saying it has to go through different costs to get different information, then the hacker kind of will hack into one of those costs.
Right. Yeah. Easy one is to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You can just set up a device, let's say USC, and I can just it's my laptop. Right?
Yeah. And now, is there a way to either designate a physical device, or maybe like a virtual switch, where it's like a closed device, or is that in development?
Yeah, there is like there's lots of things in development, but they're expensive, so people don't use them. Yeah, so it's like you have point-to-point connections. There used to be T1 lines before, which we don't have anymore. But there is software which is coming up, which like will create a connection, secure connection. So there's technology already there, but they're not used.
And right now, you're saying that there's no like baseline standard best practices.
Right. Yeah. Because most of the people don't know computers, right? So IT guys does not understand cybersecurity. He only understand how to connect computers. So his computer are connected, his job is done, right?
Who would like put that out? Is there like a channel? Is there a board, or is there an organization?
Yeah, there's an organization called NIST, which is the National Institute of Cybersecurity, right? And so they have lots of recommendations, and they come up with lots of process procedures to do that. Any other questions? Yes.
So is Palmchip provides consulting services, or does it also have products and platforms that it offers to customers?
Yes, Palmchip has lots of technology. We've been around for 25 years. So, yes, so
you do have a product or a platform?
Yes, we have products which does network scannings. We have products which do monitoring. So we do have products which do edge, and services do edge device monitoring 24 hours.
So you have product and also offer other services.
Right. All right. Thank you very much. And
Thank you very much, Jauher, for your presentation and the attendees for the questions and interactions during this session. You can contact the speaker directly if there are any further questions regarding this topic. Please provide your feedback using the form. Thank you again, everyone, for today's presentation, and enjoy the rest of DataCon LA.